Now then, welcome to the latest edition of Red Army TV. Got loads to talk about, by the way. Got two great guests in the studio. Got friend of the show and my mate Ian Galloway. And I've got Red Army's very own Mr. Chris Lofthouse. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Loads to chat about. I want to go right back to last weekend first. Brentford away. Obviously, the result didn't go away 3-2. Brentford a flying gal. Was it expected for us to go down there and score a couple of goals and not get anything, or did you think we should have got more out of the game?
I'm honest, I'd have took 3-2 before the kick-off just to get a couple of goals against Brentford. They had a very, very good team. I was listening to the great Mr. Vickers from the Gazette talking, and he was saying that Ollie Watkins, top goal scorer in the division, was moved to play a different position because the new fella McCood had him in his back pocket, and they changed him over to go up against Fry. So we've done very, very well. I think they had the best defensive record in the division at home as well.
Yeah, I mean, and look, they are absolutely flying. You know, I was doing a bit of research because I put a bit into this, gal. But the Borough haven't won in 8 games, and out of them 8 games, 6 of them are obviously in the Championship. 2 defeats in them 6, both to Brentford and Fulham. Chris. Now, obviously, both teams, look where they are on the table.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like a glass half full scenario, how you look at it, isn't it? You know,
it is, and we were talking about this before we came on air, didn't we? And it's like, it's fine margins between us getting a result and not getting a result. And there's a lot of fans kind of thinking, oh, well, it's quite positive because we nearly did it. I'm at the point now where I'm getting quite negative because I'm thinking we can't keep on nearly doing it. We've got to kind of progress and start picking up points, even if it's just the odd point here and there. Like Wigan, you know, I know we're going to move on to that probably later in the show, but that was again a tight game, 2-2. Really should be winning that. Yeah.
Well, again, you're right. We'll come on to Wigan very shortly. But like I say, high flying Brentford, you know, going down there. I mean, I mentioned on Red Army Radio before the game that I thought we could go down and maybe get something. I was open for a point. I won't lie to you, gal. And when it got to me and you were sort of indisposed last Saturday playing a charity game, of which our legs are probably still feeling it.
I've heard all about this, lads. Yeah.
But when it got to 2-2, it flashed up on the old video printer when I was up there in the club having a light shandy afterwards.
In an ice bath.
Yeah. When it flashed up at 2-2, I thought, this is great. You know, a point at Brentford would have been great. Just wasn't to be, mate, was it?
Like you say, you'd have took it before the kick-off. These positive. I get where you're coming from as well.
Yeah.
There's got to be a time where you draw a line in the sand, say enough is enough. But I mean, there's no way on this planet if Brentford don't go up that Watkins will be playing in this division next season.
Yeah,
but you know, he's a Premier League striker, and it's fine margins. We could have been 4-2 up when we went to 2-2. We missed 2 sitters, and that's my problem. Is the inconsistencies up front.
I totally agree. There's so many games where we could have had more goals than we end up with. I get that. But it's that whole thing at the end of every game. We keep saying, oh, we could have done this, we could have done that, we could have done this. It's about time we started doing this and started doing that rather than almost, you know, achieving things. Yeah.
Well, look, have your say as well. Get in touch with us. Send us through the old social media. Send us your bits and bobs, and we'll hopefully have a chat about it. We're on Facebook Live as well as Teesside TV. Okay, so send your messages through, and hopefully I'll read a couple out. Fletcher and Wing scored the goals, gal. We'll come on to Wing very shortly because he's on a bit of a roll. But Fletcher, is he sort of hot and cold? Is it one game, nothing from him another, one from the... How do you think his season's panning out?
I watch him first. You watch him sometimes and you think, yeah, that's good skill, well done. And then the next effort, he's like Bambi on ice. His first touch is letting him down. I think he's getting a bit of an understanding with I think them two should be the 2 forwards. I don't think Assombalonga's helping him. Now he's come back in. I don't think he's an asset. And I just think bringing Gestead on every 2 minutes from the end isn't helping either because you start lumping it in for Gestead. He's there or thereabouts, but he's just not consistent enough for me. It's not 90 minutes, it's like 50, he might be all right.
He had a really good spell when Assombalonga was first out of the team, and it looked as though he'd really kind of taken over the role of number 9 and taken over this goal scorer's role. But again, like Gal said, it's not been every game. He's kind of lost a bit of form, I think, Fletcher.
Well, fellas, we're going to come on to Wigan. Let's have a look.
Or at least goal scoring. Anyway.
Let's have a look what the guys are saying on the old social media. Mohamed Ibra's been on going backwards under Woodgate. Christmas time run was a one-off. I wonder where and if Steve Gibson will act. Do I think we're back to them type of comments, Gal, yet?
I think it's a bit earlier. I think, let's not beat about the bush. Woodgate was forced into them changes. It wasn't his tactical nous that the Gazette claim he's got. He was forced into it. We'll find out this weekend because Friend and Shot in the back, they played in a friendly last night against Celtic. This is where we'll find out because then we'll see if he's going to take a chance on the young'uns, because that was let it down last night, was it no wing-backs playing flat back four.
Yeah, again, this is something else we talked about before we came on air. When he was forced into playing midfielders at the back and wing-backs, we've done really well.
Absolutely.
But it seems it'd be interesting to see what kind of formation and what kind of lineup he goes with if he's got a full squad to choose from. It'd be interesting. Yeah.
Well, back to the social media, fellas. Mo's been back on and he's chatting about Ben Gibson. Mo, we're going to chat about Ben Gibson very, very shortly. Andrew Hamilton, Greenwood's finest, he's been on, he's watching, saying hello to Gal and myself and Chris. Paul Nichols makes a decent point. 4 out of 6 league games against average teams. And 3 of them at home. Let's not hide the fact that we're in a bit of a rut again. Would you agree with that, Chris? Are we back in a bit of a rut?
It seems it, and it's getting to the point now where I think we need to start gaining some good results. Otherwise, the good form that we had through December becomes a bit of a stick to beat Woodgate with. Because then a lot of fans, and we know fans are all entitled to their opinion. Fans have got the opportunity then to say that, look, that run of form was just a flash in the pan and it was an accident. And unless we start replicating that to a certain degree, it becomes a bit of a thorn in his side, really, that we've had that. And then we can't replicate it again. Yeah. So, yeah, we do need to start turning things around a bit.
The game management here for me. To go 2-1 up against a team that's down to 10 men and then progressively play worse is shocking. The game management there, I watch him at the back sometimes and say, put your foot through it. We're winning 2-1. Just clear the balls. No need to mess about.
Well, I'm really glad you've come on at that, Gal. So let's talk about Wigan. All right. Again, a couple more goals for Lewis Wing. We'll chat about him in a little bit. But Ravel Morrison made his debut. And I know when I think about Ravel Morrison, I think, the Borough there on paper and probably theoretically have got one hell of a player. It's keeping his head right. Yeah. It's keeping him right and getting him fit. I thought for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, he looked a class act. Do you agree with me, Chris?
I must admit, I didn't watch the whole game. I saw the highlights. And was it his cross that was looping in and came back off the post? Was it Morrison that hit that cross yesterday as well? Yeah. I'll be honest, a lot of my information on Ravel Morrison is second-hand and third-hand because I think I've only ever seen him. He played, was it QPR he played at the Riverside? That's probably the only time I've ever seen him actually play. But the things that we hear about him, performances in training, Stuart Downing would give an interview this week that was printed in the Evening Gazette, basically saying that when he saw him in training at West Ham, he was fantastic. He was unbelievable. We all know the quotes from Alex Ferguson when he was at United as well. So, like you've said, on paper, brilliant player. Maybe some of his problems that he's had in the past might have been something to do with him being a bit younger. Now he's a bit older and a bit more mature. He might have, put those to bed. I'm hoping we can get something from him.
Yeah. And one for me, Gal, like I say, last couple of games, looks like he's played for us for years, is Harold McCoody. I know he scored the own goal, but I thought, and again, look, the game's all about opinion. I thought he was the best player by a country mile on the pitch. Head and shoulders above everybody else. Saint Etienne have come out today and said, basically, he's not coming back. He's up for sale and he's hoping the Borough are going to make an offer at the end of the season. I don't think the Borough will be the only club in for his signature at the end of the season. I thought he was, other than the own goal where but look, you were a defender. Do we think he's got...
well, so was I.
Well, 2 defenders there, 2 defenders in the snug. I think he's got to go for that header because theoretically the striker is behind him. Yeah. He's going to tap it in anyway. Yeah. He's got to go for that header, so I can't shout at him for having that go at that header. How good has he been, McCoody, in 2 games for the Borough
I think he's very, very impressive. And he's got Premier League rot all over him. And let's be honest about it. It would be an absolute steal if we could get hold of him. But, I tell you what surprised me. If you watch the Brentford highlights, again, I go back to Watkins on fire. He's known for his pace. Yeah. McCoody had 2 one-on-one sprints with him and beat him both times. So he's no slouch neither.
No. He's a quality player. To get round him as well.
And he's as strong in a tackle as he showed again last night.
Yeah. Well, the own goal, it's one of those, it's a winger's dream, isn't it, putting that ball in at the edge of the 6-yard box, because it can go anywhere, and that's why it went there. I don't want to point the finger, but do you think Pears might have had a better shout at, with him being relatively inexperienced? If he'd have given a shout, he might have been able to collect that without causing too much havoc.
Well, do you know what? I think it's probably a bit in no man's land, in my opinion, for Pears to come.
I think the conditions played a part.
Maybe I could lie the blame a little bit, and I know, the Red Army Rambler, that is Mr. Phil Bullock, will probably love this, but I think Dale Fry could have done a little bit better at trying to clear the ball initially. For it coming in. But look, fellas, we're going to have a short break. We'll come back and chat about Wings' 2 goals and a change of formation as well at Wigan. Join us after this short break on Red Army TV. Welcome back to Red Army TV. Got Big Gal from Borough and Red Army's own Mr. Chris Lofthouse joining me in the snug to chat everything Borough. Keep your messages coming through on the old social media. I will read a few more out as well. Thanks for getting in touch. Fellas, just before the break there, we were chatting about Wigan. I just want to, before I go on about Wings' goals, because I, like you, Gal, wasn't a bit of a Wing fan at the start of that game yesterday. And yes, he came in and scored the goal. Change your formation. Start with you, Gal, first. Did that sort of hinder us last night?
Definitely. I think we're at our best when we've got Coulson on the left, Spence on the right as wing-backs. And it's been proved, because at all our best games, we've got the pace and the energy to go forward. They both got brilliant engines. They both get back quick. And I just thought we were very, very laboured. We were too slow. We just weren't getting it up into that final third quick enough.
And there's a lot of people on social media, Chris, and other platforms, chatting saying, what's Jed Spence done? Why is he out the team? Do you think he's done anything wrong, or do you just think he's going back to a defender, as in Woodgate being a defender, going back to a flat back 4, thinking, can we just keep the goals out?
I don't think he's done anything wrong, but I don't know whether it's maybe a bit of consciousness of not wanting to burn him out, because he's come from nowhere and he's suddenly playing every single game, and is he ready to play every single game? Is he fit enough for every single game? Maybe he doesn't want to expose him to too much first team football and potentially damage him.
He's taking out the firing line, so because he's getting a lot of press coverage at the minute. As soon as we played Tottenham, it was Tottenham were interested in him. I think it's just to take him out a bit, because he's still a young kid, isn't he?
Yeah.
You think?
Go on, mate. No,
I was
please.
just going to say maybe he's obviously, no disrespect to Wigan, but they are in a lower league position than ourselves. They're one of the few. But do you think he's maybe thought, I've got the opportunity here to maybe play about with the tactics a little bit against a so-called weaker opposition?
Well, theoretically, the 4 at the back allowed Ravel Morrison to make his debut, in my eyes. And that's what he's done it for, to say, can we get some minutes under his belt? And let's have a look, and people want to see him play if he's here. I think that had a sort of something to do with it as well. But last couple of things on Wigan. Obviously, Lewis Wing scored a couple of goals. I'm going to start with you, Chris. I was chatting with Gal before the show, and I was chatting to my lad during the start of the game, and Lewis Wing, like other players I can mention at the club, great at taking shots from outside the box. Shildon's very own Northern League player. I've heard it all before. I've heard him score this, and I've seen him score that. He couldn't pass wind yesterday. Everything was behind players. The ball, first 20 minutes, the ball goes out to the right-hand side. All he's got to do is dink it into the box, and he hits a pie seller in Rose End. He then scores 2 goals. Now, I was shouting, he needs to come off. Now, look.
What do you know?
What do I know?
Yeah.
Do you agree with me? Do you think he takes his time to get into games?
Sometimes, I think, listen, we all are at the minute. We don't seem to be, as a team, getting off the starting blocks until half-time. But Wing individually, if you're talking about Wing individually, I'm going to talk about another player, actually. I'm going to talk about Marcus Tavernier as well. I think they're both quite similar. Wing last year, when he really cemented his place in the team, was consistently one of the best players on the pitch, pretty much every game he played. This year, it's every now and again he's one of the best players on the pitch. It's not every single game, and it's the same with Tav as well. So I don't know what the cause is or what the problem is with the pair of them, but it seems to be when one or both of them are playing well, they're playing well. When one or both of them aren't, they're really not. There's no middle ground.
Yeah, I think for me, if there's a 35-yard pass on and a 10-yard pass, he'll always go for 35-yarder, which when they come off is fantastic, but more often than not, they're not. And that I think that's an issue. For me, I'd have took him off at half-time. Because I know, like you said, the only reason they played flat back forward was to give Ravel Morris a run out. I'd have hooked him without a shadow of a doubt. And then his first goal was deflected, but he hit it well, fair enough. The second one was a good strike. But for me, You can't get a player to play for 90 minutes, doesn't matter how good they are. They're going to drop out the game a bit. But for me, he's out the game for 40, 45 minutes. You get a good half, and it's intermittent, and it's not enough.
And just before we leave Wigan, fellas, obviously Ashley Fletcher had the ball in the back of the net. I must admit, I watched it and I'm thinking to myself, he didn't look offside to me. And obviously the camera angles aren't the best. I've then looked at the replays today, better camera angles. Not offside, was he, Gal?
I've seen better refs do a charity match on a Saturday, only just. But, debatable. But I thought the referee was weak all the way through. When both managers are whinging about the referee at the end of the game, that's the indicator that it's been really bad.
Yeah.
And I thought he was terrible.
Seemed to lose it a little bit, didn't he? So look, I'm going to go to the social media because there's a lot about Ben Gibson. We're going to chat about that. Lot of love for you tonight, Gal, on here. People agreeing with what you're saying and things like that.
Paid them all.
Yeah, you paid them all, yeah. Let's have a look. What I was just going to say there.
I had a comment. I had Stu Gawley, nice quiff, Lofty.
Yeah. Haircut.
That's the reason I got rid of it.
Paul Nicholas has said Spence should have started last night and we should have stayed with 3 centre halves or centre backs in the new game. The ref changed the game. 11v11, reckon we would have got beat, but still blew it after going 2-1 up. Do you agree with him, Cal?
I just thought we were trying to hit them on the break when we had the extra man. I couldn't understand it. If you want to win a game and they've got less players than you, you just keep possession of the ball. If they haven't got the ball, they can't do anything. It might be boring sideways and backwards, but possession's the key. But we weren't doing it. We were trying to give them the ball, let them come at us, and then trying to hit them on the break.
But if that's the tactic you're going to employ, you're better off playing counter-attacking football with wing-backs.
Yeah, exactly.
And we didn't have wing-backs, so yeah.
Just to finish off, we've got Alan Tash Fletcher. He's watching, give big thumbs up and saying hi, guys. And Dave Skelton's watching as well. We've got a lot of X1X contingent there. And those that know Gal know. We've got to chat about Ben Gibson. There's loads of comments on there about Ben Gibson. Fellas, let me try and put things right. What's been, there's a lot of conjecture, a lot of rumour. The club, i.e. Middlesbrough, have not come out and said anything about Ben Gibson. I've checked everything before we come on air.
Yeah, I did.
There was absolutely nothing regarding Ben Gibson from Borough or from local press or anything. However, Burnley have come out and said and confirmed that Ben Gibson is currently training with Middlesbrough. Now, it doesn't say with a view of a long-term deal. It doesn't say with, bear in mind the transfer window is shut, Gal. What do we make of that?
I've been having a look on different platforms, and what seems to be quite strong is he's had a fallout with the Ninja, the manager, on the training ground because the manager has said that he hasn't been working hard enough in training. And apparently he wanted to go to Watford or Middlesbrough. Watford was his preferred choice because it's Premier League, understandable.
Yeah.
And if he couldn't do Watford, he wanted to come to Middlesbrough, and that's what it's all about apparently. That's what I've seen. But
yeah, I mean, we were talking about this again before we came on air, and I think everyone's got a different tale, but it all boils down to him and Sean Dyche not getting on.
Yeah.
And it's clear that he wants to leave the club. Where he wants to go, or who can have him, or whatever, remains to be seen. But it's obvious he needs to be leaving to play football, and it's equally as obvious that Burnley, for whatever reason, aren't letting him go.
Yeah, and look, I've read loads of social media, loads of blogs. You are right, Chris. There's obviously a divide between Sean Dyche and I think the club have come out and said that the player doesn't want to be at Burnley, hasn't since the January window wanted to be away, showed an expressive interest to be away. Look, he's a fifth. Regardless of what we think of him as being an ex-Borough, he's a Borough lad, an ex-Borough player. He's a £15 million player, and he should be playing football.
Yeah.
Simple as that. A £15 million player does not want to train with the under-18s or the under-23s if you believe what you read on social media. Anyway, fellas, big game at the weekend. Luton Town roll into the Riverside Stadium. I always remember that first game of the season, the old thriller, wasn't it? 3-3?
Doesn't it seem like years ago?
It seems like a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
What do we expect from Luton on Saturday, Gal?
I think they'll park the bus and try and get something if they can. They've got to park the bus. They've got no choice.
I think they're down and out, really, aren't they? Yeah. They're clinging on by the fingernails.
I just think, but the problem is with these types of games, if you don't get something happening in the first 20 minutes, if the crowd turn on the team, and to be fair, at home, we've been entertaining, we've been doing all right, so I just think we've got to be patient. I think if we get one goal, we'll get 3.
Yeah.
But it's when we get that first goal.
Well, I've seen an interview with George Savile earlier on in the week where George said basically, big week ahead. and really there's no. This was after the Brentford game, and he said big week ahead, Wigan midweek, and then obviously Luton at home. There's no reason why we shouldn't be going for 6 points. Obviously with the draw at Wigan midweek.
So we just need 5 points against Luton.
Is it 4 points in the week? Do you think we should be going for that? You know, and bear in mind we've got Barnsley away after that as well.
Absolutely. We talked about this before the show. We need to be picking up, for me, 6 points from the next 2 games because of the opposition. The lower than us. You know, I'm not going to say an easy opposition because Wigan weren't an easy opposition, but the quality that we've got is better than the quality that Wigan and Barnsley and Luton have got. And if we don't win, we run the risk of them closing that gap between us and them. So we need to start putting some ground between us.
And obviously, in the words of the legend Brian Clough, it's a funny game, isn't it? The Championship always throws up results.
Well, Wigan 10 Leeds over at their place, didn't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So. And when you think the Borough haven't won a game since New Year's Day, yet I think we haven't been playing bad football. So it's a funny game. Quick prediction, Gal, for Saturday?
I think 3-0.
3-0 to the Borough?
Yeah, definitely.
Chris?
Same, 3-0, yeah.
I think 3-0. Well, I'm going to look at the Red Army Rambler behind the camera and think, I'm going to sit on the fence on me last Red Army TV for a couple of weeks, and I'm going to say, Borough 5, Luton 0. And on that bombshell, see ya.